Hello and welcome to my tutorial on a small facility in Foxhole. This particular facility took me 2.5 hours to build from the first hammer swing, gathering the coal, for the gravel to make the foundations, to what you see now, minus all the upgrades. This facility was built on 9 large foundations in a 3x3 pattern. On top of that, we have 2 vehicle upgrade pads, 2 power stations, 2 material factories, and 1 metalworks factory. In the back, I have a liquid transfer station positioned to fill up the power plants. This particular facility runs off of diesel. The reason being is that I am right next to a refinery, so it takes less than 10 minutes to fill this up with 500 diesel, and that will provide this facility with 12 hours of runtime. Gathering materials for this facility is pretty simple. I have a scrap mine right here. Later on, when I get a train put in, I'll have a scrap car and a flatbed. This will allow me to gather the scrap and quickly put it into my 2 material factories. After the material factories produce my construction materials, I can take them either by hand or with the train. By hand is much quicker, and I can put them into the metalworks factory where I can start making pecans. To make pecans, you can do it 2 ways. You can use components, or you can use heavy oil. If you're going to go the heavy oil route, you'll have to upgrade your metalworks factory into a recycler. This will allow you to use the heavy oil and metal beams, which can be created in a materials factory with the assembly bay upgrade. And you can make the metal beams and use those with heavy oil to create pecans. This particular facility is specifically used for making advanced construction vehicles and the rigger, the heavy hauler for the colonials. If you wish to submit materials via the resource container, there is a way that you can do it. It used to be simpler where you could jump in the crane, hit Shift E, and it would select all the buildings around the crane. However, they did away with that. But the workaround is to put the crane next to the building that you wish to submit into. You can simply take your resource container and drop it onto any of the pads, resource transfer stations, liquid or the material one, and it will allow you to put it into the building that your crane is next to. You can see how it opened up into the vehicle upgrade station, but I have to simply hit E twice, and now I am in the metalworks factory where I can right click and submit, and you can see it just went in. You can do this also to the other facilities. If you want to put in scrap, you simply have to park your crane next to it, so when you hit E inside the crane, you can right click on the container after you drop it onto a platform and submit into the stockpile. When creating these facilities, you really want to make them as efficient and accessible as possible. This will allow multiple players to come and use them with efficiency. You can see I just hand pulled some scrap from the mine, and I'm walking over to the construction material factory, and I'm simply putting it into the public pool. In the public pool, anyone can come along, set a public queue for MSUPs, and it will immediately start pulling from the public queue pile. Now after I leave, and there's no public stockpile anymore, anyone who goes and puts them into there, it will automatically start my queue again. So it's very important if you're out and about traveling across the map to set your queues at these small facilities, because you will be creating MSUPs for everyone in the region. Anyone who puts public salvage in here will have their salvage turned into MSUPs or construction materials depending on what order they have set. One last quick tip for running your facility: if you're using diesel, you should always leave some loose cans into the liquid transfer station Reason being, when you log on and if your power plants are not running, you can simply put in a couple cans or all of them and it will flow into them, they'll start running, and you'll be able to use the crane again. To operate this facility usually only takes me 10 minutes to get everything up and running. Then I can move on to something else while they're creating the materials, especially if I build this facility next to a relic or a town hall, like West March for example. I can build CVs, drive them across onto the transfer pads, and upgrade them. And while they're upgrading, I can go and gather my materials, and when I come back, I can put the next set of CVs on, because the two will be completed. Other than that, there's not much else to tell. The biggest thing is to make them easy to use. If you make a really compact, easy to use facility like this one, everyone will be there using it, and you will be providing a huge bonus for your faction.